Okay, so here's what we're gonna need for the chili. Now there's a lot of ingredients, and this probably isn't even all of them because I'm not adding toppings here for like the end, like cheese, sour cream, whatever you want to put. But this is the basics for making it. So for the spices, I'm using 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1.5 tablespoons of just commercial chili powder, 1 tablespoon of cumin, 2 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon of oregano. These are 2 cloves. I'm also using salt, pepper, and I also have this smoked sea salt. I'm probably just going to add a little bit in, but that's definitely optional. I just want to kind of try it out. So I have ground chuck here. Actually, I'm not sure if it's ground chuck because Taiwan, I can't read the characters to figure out what kind of meat it is, but I know that it's beef, so what I would recommend you getting is ground chuck, and get about 3 cups worth, and I just dice it into large cubes. This is 1 large onion chopped. So now for the dried chilies. I'm using ancho, California chilies, and guajillo chilies. So for the ancho chilies, they look like this, dried. I have 2. I have 2 dried California chilies, and I have 3 dried guajillo chilies, and I left that there so I wouldn't forget which one's which. This is also about 6 cloves of garlic crushed or chopped, 2 cups of water. I might need more, so that all depends on how your chili's cooking. I'm using 1 can of kidney beans. This is not an authentic Texas chili or anything like that. I'm putting beans in it, but that's totally optional. I like the chunks of the beans, so that's what I'm going for. I'm also adding probably just about maybe 1.5 tablespoons of tomato paste because I want a little tomato flavor. And I'm also adding 2 chipotles in adobo sauce and 1 can of beer. And for frying, I also have some bacon fat. You can use lard, you can use oil and butter, whatever you have basically, but bacon fat will definitely be tasty. Okay, so all I'm doing right now is I'm actually just getting my dried chilies. I'm gonna just toast them a little bit in a pan. This just sort of helps the heat and the flavor of the chilies sort of come out again. And I gotta do this in batches because my pan is very, very small, my cast iron. So I'm gonna get this done, and then what I'm gonna do is, on the side I have some water that's been boiling and it's nice and hot. So once these are all toasted, I'm gonna put them in the boiling water and turn it off, and I'm gonna let it steep for about 20 minutes. So I'll show you what that looks like. So my chilies are toasted, and right now they're just soaking in water. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of bacon fat to this pan. Now, okay, if you have a Dutch oven, just do all of these steps in a Dutch oven. However, I don't have that here. I have a crock pot, so I'm using a heavy bottom pot first to just sort of get everything cooking, and then I'm gonna transfer it to a crock pot later. You can do it either way. It doesn't matter which way you cook this. You just need something with a heavy bottom. That's the most important thing about it. Okay, so I got all my bacon in, or my bacon fat, and I'm gonna add my onion. Okay, and I'm gonna saute this probably for about 4 minutes until the onion is slightly translucent. And I'm going to do is I'm going to add the garlic in. And I'm just gonna cook that briefly. All I did was I just removed the onion and garlic, and now I'm gonna add the beef. You actually should have done this in opposites, like you should have did the beef first, removed it, and then the onion and garlic, but I kind of forgot, so this works too. Okay, I'm gonna add some salt and pepper. I'm also gonna add some of that smoked sea salt, just a little bit, because it's very, very strong. Okay, and basically I'm just gonna let the beef caramelize, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I got the beef caramelize just for about 4 minutes. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a heaping tablespoon of tomato paste. And I'm also going to add the onion garlic mixture back in. And I'm also going to add all of the spices. And of course, salt and pepper to taste always. I didn't add the adobo, the chipotles in here though. And you'll see why very soon. Salt and pepper to taste. Now I'm going to add 1 can of beer. Now this is just a regular basic lager. This is Taiwan beer. It's just like, I didn't want too much flavor just because we're adding so much flavor in other areas as well. So I'm adding a whole can of beer, or a bottle of beer, of a lager of your choice. Okay. All right, next I'm going to add the 2 cups of water. A bit more salt and pepper to taste. Give this all a mix. You see this gorgeous, beautiful color. It's amazing. Just going to taste for salt. I think it's good for now. Okay. Now I'm going to transfer this to the crock pot and you'll see the next step. Okay, next step. My chilies are ready. They're nice and soft, as you can see. All I did was I just removed the stem. I left the seeds in them. I'm not going to add any of the water that they were soaking in because I think it's going to taste a little bit too bitter and I don't want my chili to be like I'm drinking a cup of coffee or something. So chilies in, and then I'm taking my 2 chipotle chilies in adobo sauce, putting those in as well. And if you like it really nice and hot, you can add more. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of water. And I'm just going to puree this. So that looks great. If there's small chunks, you know, no sweat, don't worry about it. I'm going to take the tiniest taste of this and see what the heat's like. It's pretty good, but actually I'm probably going to add maybe 1 teaspoon of cayenne because I want my chili to be a little bit hotter. I could have also just added 1 more chipotle, but I don't have any more, so that's why I'm just going to add cayenne. Okay, and you know, obviously keep tasting your chili as it cooks for hours. If it's, you know, if it's not hot enough, you could just add more. But the thing is I don't like to add too much when I start because once it's in and you can't take it away. So, all right, let's get this all together now. Okay, so my last step for now is to just add this chili pepper mixture. And you see how beautiful the color is. And you know, in terms of color, it doesn't need any tomato. If you like tomato, you know, you can totally add that. I wanted to kind of make it like a Texas chili, but obviously it's not authentic because Texas chili just doesn't have any tomato, any beans in it at all. But I wanted to just keep the sort of process similar. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. Alright, I'm going to put a lid on this and I am going to cook it on low heat. It's probably going to take about 5 hours. You're basically looking for the chunks to begin to fall apart. I'm not going to put the beans in until the end because those are canned beans. They're already cooked. So if you put it in now, they're just going to turn into like mush. So anyway, I will see you back with the final results. It's been almost 5 hours on the slow cooker and I'll show you what's going on in here. So as you can see, it's reduced down a bit, and the beef are still in chunks, but you can just cut right through them with like a spoon very, very easily. And that's what we want. I tasted for seasoning. I added more salt during the cooking process. So now you'll notice that it's pretty thin. So what we're gonna do for that is we're gonna thicken it up a little bit. So since this is about the last hour of cooking, I went ahead and I just rinsed my 1 can of kidney beans, and I'm gonna throw them in here. And this will help to thicken it up slightly. I rinsed the kidney beans to like sort of get rid of that weird tin can iron kind of taste. All right, and then the next thing I'm gonna do is here I have about 2 tablespoons of, well, actually you're supposed to use Masa Harina, but I don't have Masa Harina, so what I did is I took a flour tortilla and I basically toasted it so it would get stale, and I just put it in the food processor. So this is about 2 tablespoons worth. I might need more, but this is what I'm gonna start with. And first I'm just adding a little liquid to this, and I'm just gonna mix and form a paste. And if you don't have Masa Harina, or if you don't have a stale flour tortilla, you can use regular, good old-fashioned flour. Okay, so now I'm gonna add this into the pot. All right, and then I'm gonna cover the lid, and I'm probably gonna cook it for about, well, I don't know, another hour, maybe an hour and a half at the most. I'll let you know how much longer I cook it for when I think that it's ready. So I'll see you back then. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like in the crock pot. I would say it's about finished. It's cooked for 6 hours in total. 1 hour was on low heat, the rest was on high heat on the crock pot. The last hour, like I said, I added the beans and the Masa Harina, or the corn tortillas that I used it. So let me show you how much thicker it got. It's really nice and thick, and it's, oh my god, it's so good. I tried it, it's freaking unbelievable. There you go, guys. That is my chili con carne with beans. I don't really know what I'm gonna call it yet. I have to think about this. Okay guys, I'm gonna give this a try for you. I'm really, really excited. I've been tasting it along the way as it's been cooking, and it's definitely the best chili I've ever made. So, really excited. I put some cheddar cheese, some onions, some sour cream, and cilantro on top. You can put any kind of toppings you want. This would be amazing with cornbread. I don't know how to make cornbread, so if you're a southerner and you're watching this and you have a great cornbread recipe, maybe you can send it to me and I can try to make it. That would be great. But anyway, so here you go. I'm going to try to get a little bit of everything here. Mmm. Oh my god, it's so good. It is really so good. It's spicy, but not too spicy at all. Like, it has some heat, but I think that it's the perfect amount for me, at least. It's definitely like the flavors are really developed. The meat is still in chunks, but like you bite into it and it just falls apart in your mouth really easily. And I think the cocoa really gave it something interesting too. It gave it just sort of this nice something extra. Oh my god, it's so good. I really like the beans in it because I really like the taste of beans in chili, actually. And it sort of just adds more, you know, chunks in it. Yep, this one's going down in my records. I'm probably never going to change the way I make this ever again. I make a few different kinds of chilies, but in terms of like chili with beef, I think that this is hands down the best one. So I really hope that you give this a try, and if you do, let me know how it turns out. And until next time, enjoy and happy cooking!